Hey everyone, I'm Jen, and I own a veterinary technician relief business.
And I'm Michelle. I own a veterinary technician mobile house call business.
And you are
And you are
listening
listening
to
to
Endless
Endless
Journeys,
Journeys,
the Vet
the
Tech
Vet Tech
Odyssey
Odyssey
podcast.
podcast.
In this podcast, we will be discussing and meeting with credentialed technicians who have created their own path with business ownership within the veterinary space.
Our goal is to help inspire burnt out vet techs before they leave the industry altogether through our stories and the stories of other vet tech business owners. Happy Monday and welcome to the Endless Journeys podcast. How's everybody doing today? Jen?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
I
I don't know. What is it? It's November now.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like dreary and cloudy and rainy. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just one of those days, just a slow morning and a cold morning and just like snuggle up kind of day. Snuggle up on the couch kind of day. So that's what I'm doing.
Yes. Me too. It's funny. Like I see you in your blanket, and I got my Golden Girls blanket. I got my like old man pillow behind me. Yeah, it's a
Yep.
snuggle day for sure. So yeah, we're snuggling, everybody. We're snuggling.
Yep. For sure.
Yep. As Jen yawns, I love it. And I'm you're like powering through. Like, should I get myself an energy drink? No, I'm gonna stick with my water. So because it's 5:30 here at Michigan time. Welcome to our holiday episode. We decided to do an episode today. This should be releasing right around the holidays. Right now, we're like right before
Yeah, it should be
Thanksgiving.
like at least a week before.
Christmas?
Yeah,
That holiday?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, Christmas. That
Yeah.
holiday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping this comes out in time for all the technicians to listen to it and, get some good feelings about the differences in working in a veterinary clinic or being your own boss, the good and the bad of both sides. And
Yep.
sure, there are certain things you miss about the holidays being in a home clinic and things that you love about being an independent contractor and independent business. And the same with me, like when I was starting to look at this episode, I was like, God, there's so many holidays where I had these awesome holidays with my coworkers. But now I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm all alone. But then there's
Yeah,
also
like the
perks to it
holiday
too.
parties and just the relationships that you make. Like I was always one of those people who I had my, I guess you could say it. I had my people, and those were the people that I always had a gift for, and no matter what. Or I know like a lot of clinics would do like Secret Santa. So yeah, yeah,
That's
it can be
that's the
fun.
only part. Yeah, that's the only part is I miss some of those, and I got some really actually one crazy like a crazy example later on like why I miss the clinic so much, but it's I didn't even tell you yet, and it's crazy. So I mean, when I think about holiday clinic fun, like my memory always goes back to this one instance, but I'll save that for later and why.
Okay.
But it's good though. I promise you, it's good. It's funny. It's borderline it's actually very inappropriate, but it's still funny. I mean, I'm like,
Well,
that's why I
yeah,
miss
no,
it.
great.
Yeah, I miss
Looking
it. So
forward to hearing about it.
yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, that's what we're talking about today. But before we get into our topic, how's things been going with you over there, Jen?
Things have been going okay. It's been kind of a tough couple months for me still. Now that we've kind of talked that I still haven't really been feeling very good. And it's still, yeah, it's still lingering. So I'm really tired all the time. So I've just been trying to get through, and kind of do the best that I can. I worked, I believe I worked, gosh, I was supposed to work 2 days last week. I only ended up working one. I actually had to leave. I left on one of my days because I really, really just wasn't feeling good. So I actually left. So yeah, I guess I only worked like one day really last week. And we weren't super busy. It's kind of getting to be that time of the year where it's kind of hit or miss, where you either like you're super slammed or it's dead and there's nothing going on. And I believe like it was like right around the time around like the swing shift or like right around swing time where it was like 3 or 4 or 5, where we started getting really slammed with pretty big cases. But yeah, I just, wasn't really feeling good. And so yeah, it's just still just trying to hang in there um with that. But work's been really understanding and they've been really great. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at so far.
Yeah, he'll get there. He'll get there. And I know we talked about like just fatigue and illnesses and vet med, and you know,
Yeah.
he'll get through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. So
What about
uh,
you? How busy was your work week last week?
it was steady. I like the steadiness of last week. What week was I on last week? And it's funny because I don't have anything crazy like good or bad that sticks out, which is usually pretty good, right? At
Mhm.
least in my world. Like if it's quiet, like it's good. But now I'm looking back to see what work week I was on because each week, as you know, has its set route. So
Right.
it's always like the same group of people. But last week, oh yeah, last week was my White Lake week, and then I had my largest week of the route, Lake Orion. That's like my busiest route. So
Mhm.
yeah, uneventful but good. I like that week. It's usually a solid flow type of week. So and this
Good.
week, yeah, this week coming up is I mean, oh, this is my weird week. I'm like not in any areas this week, but I'm like scattered everywhere. So it's like my crazy
Oh,
week. I'll be literally at, if you're not from Michigan, you're not gonna know these areas, but essentially one day I'll be in one area, the next day I'll be like 30 to 45 minutes away to another area, and I go like
wow.
north, south, east, west, but they're all different days. They're all like 30 minutes south of my house, 30 minutes north, 30 minutes east, or 30 minutes west. It's like
So
that
that's a
crazy week.
long day of driving.
It is, but all the appointments are very close to each other, within like 5 minutes of each other. So once I
Oh,
get
okay.
out there, yeah, once I get out there, I like knock them out, man. They're like just one right after another. But getting out there is a longer part
I
for
see.
this week. Yeah. So it's like almost like a long drive to work, essentially. And then once you get to work, and then you got the long drive home.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
But it was quiet. I did have a couple things. So and I'll put it in the show notes. And I'm not trying to do like, what is it called? Like a shameless plug or anything. But one of my owners, he makes candles and he gave this to me. And I thought it was so cool. If you can see, Jen, it's corn chip scented. All right. And he's like, here, I thought you'd like this. And it's corn chips, dog paws, non toxic soy candles, burns for 40 hours. And he puts them in like a paint jar. And I haven't even opened it yet. He gave me a key. All right. Yeah.
Is that
It's
what it
like,
actually smells like?
we're going to find out.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. And in the pre-record, you're eating burritos too. So I
I know,
saw that
I'm
and I'm
eating Fritos. I also like I have 3 dogs and they all sleep in my bedroom and I swear sometimes I'm just like it literally just smells like corn chips in here. It smells like it smells like the dog's paws in here. So why?
because you're eating burritos and you got dog paws in the
I have
bed.
friggin' 3 dogs in my house.
So what you're saying is I should order one of these candles and send it to you then for Christmas.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
No.
not? Oh no, are you sure? Okay, all
My
right.
house, if I'm not, my house already smells like it.
Well, you might as well get a candle to match the scent.
Yeah,
Just
maybe.
saying. Okay, so I'm actually gonna open this and I'm gonna see, like, and Jen can see, like, it's a paint can. It's so cool. And he'll send it with an opener too.
Okay.
My God, that does smell like
Just like straight Fritos.
straight up, yeah, Labrador Frito feet. Like, dude's not playing. Yeah, yeah, it
That's
does.
funny.
Yeah, so he gave it to me like that is cool. You know, he said they're more like novelty gifts. But I mean, hell, I'd burn it. Like, probably smells better than the house right now. So I mean, like, but it literally smells like Fritos. Yeah. So I feel like
That's funny.
yeah, anything else that would be ordered would probably have that scent of like oddity, like fresh paint smell or, you know, V8 engine smell. But I thought it was so cool and thoughtful that he gave that to me. So that's,
Yeah, that is.
yeah, that was like probably my highlight of the week. Bronson. So you've never met Bronson yet, have you? No, he's never made, I don't think he's ever made an appearance. So I mean, you're recording.
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay. So He's my security guard. So Bronson is my Doberman, and Jen, you probably see this a lot in emergency. I bet you do. Dobermans with DCM.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Dobermans with heart disease and yeah, we
Yeah,
do.
yeah. So I lost a cat to HCM suddenly, and my cat Rodimus. So now I'm that person of like it happened once, so I'm gonna make sure it never happens again because I feel
Mhm.
like I failed my cat. So now I'm like, I will save my dog, right? So he actually goes to the cardiologist once a year to get an ultrasound and a Holter monitor for 48 hours. So he did that this weekend. That was kind of fun.
Do you just do that as a preventative measure, or has he been diagnosed with heart disease?
No, no diagnosis. It's preventative. So, from my understanding, it's a good gold standard in Dobermans because of DCM. And then I also want to say Cavaliers and Boxers. At
Yeah.
least that's what I'm pretty sure the
Yeah.
cardiologist had told me, like, are their top breeds. So we do it once a year just to make sure nothing's sneaking up.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
good.
yeah, I'd rather just make sure the heart's doing its job, and if something comes up, we'll know ahead of time. So he had that on him all weekend, and it's so cute. Looks like a little sweater vest. But it reminded me of when, kind of like a down point for me this week. It reminded me of a case that I saw. Was it 2 years ago? No, it was either last year or the year before. But I feel like it brought back those memories, and I want to talk about it because to me, when in my line of work, we do so much client education, like so much. And I had this one owner with a 4-year-old Doberman as well. And I know DCM hits these guys. And I was telling her about going to the cardiologist. And prior to her getting her Doberman, she's never done any research on them. That's fine. Not everybody, myself included. I just got a pit bull one day, didn't do any research, right? But she didn't do any research. So I was talking to her about DCM. I just got back from VMX and I went to a couple of cardiac lectures there. I remember I was talking to her about it and she started crying. And I was like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Well, I just can't picture my life without Rover." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, it's, I told her it's okay. I was like, just go to the cardiologist. It's a good preventative measure. It's gold standard. I was like,
Yeah.
Bronson is a year younger than your dog. I'm already doing it on him. I was like, go and get this done. I was like, because she was really starting to get concerned and she felt bad for not knowing what the disease was and she was crying. And I had a really good relationship with this owner. Like, I've been seeing her for a year and a half. So I'm like, she's going to take my advice, right? Certainly. No, she didn't. So that was in January. And I remember telling her in January, if you call now, they'll probably get you in April or May. Cause at that time they were booking 5 months out roughly. I was
Yeah.
like, you got plenty of time to, save up. They're booking out. It'll be a preventative measure. And then you'll know. And
Mhm.
next month I go to her house. And I was like, so did you call the cardiologist? And she looked at me and she was like, nah, my dog, she doesn't need it. She's healthy. She's fine. I'm like, all right. I didn't push it any much farther. I'm like, and to me, whenever an owner says, I know my dog better than you, usually I back off. I'm like, sure you
Right.
do. But
Yeah.
okay. Uh, well, here it is Thanksgiving Day. And I'm perusing around on social media. And then I see that owner post, prayers for Rover. She's having breathing issues. We're at the emergency care right now. And I'm like,
Mm.
Mike, damn. And then they didn't have the money. The prognosis was very poor, guarded, and they euthanized. Yeah. And that one gets to me when I think about it. And just with Bronson getting his halter on and
Yeah.
now remembering what happened to that Doberman, like I started kind of getting a little panicky in the exam room as a client. Like I'm like, oh God, what happens if this is the year? And I still think to that 4-year-old Doberman that just keeled over in her backyard. And so like that kind of brought back those memories. And I want to talk about it because it's one of those times that frustrates me that I wasn't able to. I know I wouldn't be able to save that dog, like, but my brain says I told her about this in January. If she would have went in April, maybe something would have been detected and she wouldn't have had these issues in November. Like maybe she would have had a plan. She would have had a course of action and the death would not have been so freaking traumatic for her and that dog. But she didn't
Yeah.
listen to me and I called it. So yeah, when he put the halter on this weekend, I was like, no, not my baby. But she said the ultrasound looked good. More than likely, the halter is going to look good. So I just returned it. She'll be calling me this week, and I got a feeling everything's gonna be good. But now it kind of panics me. But it's just disappointing when I was like, "I suggest you do this." And she didn't take my suggestion. She thought her dog was healthy, and, 6 months later, it was gone of the exact same thing I told her.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes though, it's just people are in denial about it, or, or financially, they just can't afford it either. I mean, it sounds like they really couldn't afford the emergency care either. So, I mean, I don't know. It's hard, especially with those large breed dogs. Um, I mean, because all of these specific breeds, they're all prone to something, right? I mean, I have Goldens, and so those are prone to any and all type of cancers. So, yeah, I'm always like every time my husband is like touching one of the dogs and he's like, "What's that? What's that lump?" And then I'm just like in my head, I'm like, I don't even want to think about that right now. Like, oh my gosh, why are you doing this to me?
Stop
And then I
pointing lips out.
and then I have to feel it. And then I'm just like, I think for the majority of the time, if yeah, I'd say from this point right now, everything that I felt, I'm like, oh yeah, that's fine. That's just a fatty lump, or it's just a skin tag. Like that's nothing to worry about. So, but still, every time you hear it, it's just like, oh, why? And especially the older they get. I have a 7-year-old golden retriever and a 6-year-old labradoodle, and I feel like at this point in time, like anything can really come up.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. That's where I'm at with Bronson. I'm like, he'll be 5 in about a month. Yeah, it's a month to the date. He'll be 5 actually. And I'm like, this is the time where they start developing them. And yeah,
yeah,
it's so
and
weird.
that's scary. And then you have to deal with all the sadness. I don't deal with the sadness well. I mean, I had a golden that died of cancer, and it was really traumatic for me. It was my very first dog that I ever had. So, it was very traumatic for me. I was very, very sad. And then I get really obsessive too. So, of like, how can I save them?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. It's just,
So every lump
it's
your husband
hard.
points out, you're probably like separating the fur, like, what is that? And you're like pulling at it and tugging at
Yeah.
it.
And then I'm
Yeah.
just like hoping to God that it's not something that is a big deal, and just, ugh, I know. But, and then, it is. It's stressful and it's hard. And then that like when you're doing the preventative measure, like you're doing something good, but at the same time, like you said, like then you get that panic of like, what if, you know, what if we
This
find
is it.
something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's weird because I'm not like, I don't work at a clinic. So I'm the owner at this point, and I'm the owner with too much knowledge. So it's like, oh, this can happen. So, but luckily I'm not running into the vet every time he sneezes or anything.
Right.
So I feel like I'm at a good balance of being a good proactive owner, but not that owner that comes in every week thinking something's wrong. So Bronson's the entire time I've had him, he's been to the vet twice that I can think of for a sickness. He got Bordetella one time, and then when I first met you, our first episode we were set to record, he had all that gas, and those are the
Oh
only
yeah.
times Yep, that's the only 2 times he's been in for a sickness visit. But he goes like once a year wellness, and then once a year for the cardiologist. So he's doing good so far.
Good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Right, you guys. So we also just wanted to give a big announcement for one of our guests. So when we were first starting out, we had our third guest who was on our show. It was Sharon Vituri, and we were talking to her in that interview, and she had told us that she was working on a book and that she was very, very close to, I think at that point she was editing it and she was very close to publishing it. So we just wanted to give her a shout out and let everyone know that her book is officially out. Her book came out last week, so she officially messaged me. It was on November 26th that her book was officially out, and it's called I Got a Pet. Now what? And so we just wanted to let everyone know out there that she finally has her book out. It sounds like it's more steered towards pet owners and new pet owners. And it's just basically, it sounds like it's just an FAQ for people who literally are just, getting into becoming a pet owner and like what it all entails, and just giving out that important information of, I think, things that for us, they're like, oh, that's so simple. Like, why would no one know that? But in all honesty, like, we have to start with the basics with a lot of the clients. And so I think it's great that she came out with a book like this. I think it's going to be really helpful. And yeah, so if you can, we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the link in the show notes. And if you can just share that on your social media for Sharon, and she would love that, and we would love that too.
I will say I shared it on mine. All of my clients already obviously have pets, but I thought, like, what happens if that, senior citizen clients had Fido for like 20 years and they're going to go get a new puppy? Well, a lot's changed in 20 years. So I put it on my work page for my clients, hoping that they would see that. I got like several in mind where I'm like, I know they're going to get a dog when this one passes and they're going to need to be up to date on some stuff,
Yeah.
like for
Hmm.
real. So not only for the first timers, but for the empty nesters who have had the same dog for 20 years and are re-entering the new era of pet ownership versus what it was 20 years ago. It'll help those guys too.
Oh, for sure. And I can tell you right now, whenever I get a new puppy, I get my old books out, like my old puppy books out, and I'm like, okay, I need a refresher. Okay, like because you need a refresher sometimes. And I always say like none of us know everything. So even if you've owned a pet for years and years and years, I bet you. I mean, Sharon is so smart, and even some of the insights that she had on our podcast, like there were so many things that were discussed of like that were so important that I was like, man, I hadn't even thought about that. So I'm sure she has things in this book that's the same that even us veterinary professionals are like, oh my gosh, like that's actually not something I thought about. So
Yeah. True. And then just because we work in the industry doesn't mean we know how to raise a puppy. I swear I did not think I was going to survive Bronson. That first 8 months, oh my God, I was like, what did I do? And
right,
I'm not, I'm not a puppy equipped person as I found out, but luckily both him and I survived.
right,
So I wish I would have had a book, maybe something like that to read from a licensed veterinary technician to guide me on
right.
what I should do when my dog was acting like a fool.
Right, exactly. So, congratulations, Sharon. We're
Thank
so happy for you. I know that writing a book, editing, and getting it published and doing all of those things are not easy. And so, kudos to you. It sounds like Kiki she wanted to say congratulations as well.
Yeah. Yeah, she popped her little head up for the first time in God knows
Yeah,
how
she
many episodes.
did.
Yes.
She says,
Y-
congratulations, Sharon.
Yes, she's
No, we're
cheering
so
you
happy
on.
for you. Yeah, we're so happy. Like,
Yes.
you go, girl.
Yes.
All right.
And then Brandy's TikTok. You said you wanted to talk about it?
Or
Can you hear it?
Brady with Vet Tech to Go, sitting in the car rider line, crocheting. And I was listening to Michelle and Jennifer's podcast earlier, Endless Journeys. It's focused towards veterinary technicians that have chosen the non-traditional routes. So whether that be mobile business like mine or doing just relief, there's lots of different options. And
okay, so
one thing
she was
that's
talking.
always
I was like,
kind
I'm
of
trying to. She was talking about just the freedom of being able to do whatever you want to do,
Yes.
even though it seems like we're not working at the top of our license.
Let me play real. I'm gonna fast forward at times too. That's a little trick that you can do. So let me fast forward because I want to refresh my memory just a little bit. Okay.
made me doubt doing this sometimes, is as Michelle calls it, it's not practicing at the top of your license.
Yep.
Which basically means I have this license, I'm able to do, A through Z, and I'm only doing LNOP, whatever. And I was thinking about it, and it occurred to me, we don't expect human nurses to be diversified as much as in general practice.
I got the gist of it again. I got 4 reposts too. There you go.
Really?
Yeah.
But then she ends up talking. So she talks about that, and then she talks about like also how with mobile techs, even like nail trims and anal glands, like people may be saying like, hey, well, but you're not performing at the top of your license, and you're supposedly a licensed technician. And then she goes on to talk about all the freedom that she has, though, at the same time. Like, she can go pick up her kids after school. She can drop her kids off for school and not have to ask for permission to see her kids or to do any of those things. Yeah. And that it's worth it.
Worth it. I think, yeah, and I loved how she pointed out in there, like, it's okay and it's normalized for human nurses to specialize. They only go into one area. But us vet techs, we're expected to be in all areas. And that to me, like, really stuck out. It's like, why is it like human nurses? They can, yeah, like she said, they can go to pediatrics, they can go into oncology. But as technicians, if we focus on one thing, then we're not at the top of our license and we're not even, as I've been told, you're not even a real vet tech.
You're not special enough.
Yeah. So I'm glad she put that video out there. So vet tech to go, Brandy, thank you, because it highlighted, yes, the life of being a mobile vet tech and not working at the top of your license. But Jen, I know you're into facial stuff and aesthetics like myself. Like, I know so many nurses that are in aesthetics, and that's the goal. They
My
call
gosh,
it,
my
yeah,
ex-husband was an LPN and all he did was pass medications. That's all he did. He didn't do anything else. And I remember working in ER and being like, don't you like want to do more? Don't you want to like draw blood and place catheters and like place NG tubes, like all the stuff you learned in school? And he was like, no. He's like, this is easy. And I make more. He's like, and I make good money. He made more money than I did. And all he did was pass medications. Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to be that person right now. I'm going to be that fucking person right now. I'm just saying. Like,
So we're like, fuck that, I'm gonna be that person.
yeah, I'm gonna be that person right now. I don't even care. But like, yeah, like, and he was a nurse. And like, and then of course, like, then people tell you that, oh, well, I'm a human nurse. And they're like, oh my gosh, you do such great things, blah, 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 whatever. He freaking passed medications. He freaking, like, so come on. Did not work at the top of his license. Not
he
like
was still
I did.
respected. Exactly. And he was still respected. And meanwhile, you're
more than
jumping
me.
on top of half dead dogs, saving their life.
Yeah. Yeah. Placing IV catheters and cats with tiny ass veins. And yeah. So come on. Yeah. It's ridiculous. It is.
Yeah.
It's such a weird thing to think about, but it's so true. Yeah.
Yes.
And we should be able to choose what we want to do, and we should be able to be respected for it. And like Brandy was saying too in her TikTok, like, you know what? Who cares what you think of me? So maybe that you don't think I'm working at the top of my license. I get to go drop off my kids at school. I get to pick them up. I don't have to ask permission for a day off to go on vacation. I don't have to ask for permission for a day off to go to hang out with my kids. And everybody has their priorities, right, in their life, and everybody can decide how they want to spend their time, and if they want to focus on their careers, but there are some people who can focus on their career and still be able to have that freedom at the same time. It's all just status, right? At that point. And when we reach a certain age, I think that it gets to the point where we all realize, and I think that's where we're at, me and you, Michelle, like we're at the point where we'll choose our freedom over our status.
You're exactly right. We do. I think when you're young and what is it, like you have piss and vinegar in your veins, like you're full of diesel, like, yeah, you want to do it. But when you get older, it's like, I just want to be able to go pick up my kids on time.
Yep.
I just want to go home and go to sleep on time. And that's okay. Like we should embrace it. And we should be embracing these ideas. And even like with relief work, it's like I still feel like there's this stigma of like maybe and this is of course like I feel like a very older thought, because I do remember having this conversation in a clinic long before I met you and long before I became a mobile tech of like, oh, those are the techs or those are the doctors that can't hold a job. Like, and there's still that, I feel like that mentality of like they're not working for a clinic, so they're less than. I feel like, again, that was a long time ago, but now it's more and more common. It's more accepted.
I mean, I don't think that that's necessarily wrong though either. I was literally just having, I'm gonna just be transparent here. I think that that's why people listen to us, right? I mean, I was just having a conversation with one of my girlfriends, had a doctor who was like, she was like, hey, if you know any relief doctors, I might need some, I need some time off in a couple of months and I might need some relief doctors. And I was like, oh yeah, I know a lot of relief doctors, but I only know 2 that I would feel comfortable sending to you. because good work is hard to find. Like, good people are hard to find. Like, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and try to bash relief doctors. All I know is who I am, and all I know is what I can do, and I know the reputation that I've built. But I haven't worked with I haven't worked with a lot of great relief people in the past either. I don't think that's necessarily wrong with what you're saying either. But I mean,
Really? Okay.
yeah, because like I said, I have worked with some relief doctors, and again, I don't know if it's because the relief doctors I've worked with are an emergency, but like they they can't handle it, and then we don't hire them back.
Okay.
So, and
I
like I
mean,
said, I've worked with a lot of relief doctors just within the past year at one of the clinics that I regularly do relief for as a technician. And I would say the majority of them we've tried and have not called them back. So I wouldn't say that you're wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that you're wrong.
okay, I'll take it. I'll take it because again, that was a long time ago. And so my mind thinking was, a lot has changed. The same world that we had 7 years ago is not the same world we have
Yeah.
today.
But I mean,
So,
and I mean, and we know, I mean, I've said it so many times, the reason why I went relief, like I had a good, stable, full-time job, like that I could have kept, but I was sick of asking for permission. I was just sick of asking for permission to go on vacation or to have a day off or to get the holidays off. Like, I literally was just like, I'm so sick of having to ask for permission to live the kind of life that I want to live. And I knew eventually that, especially if I was going to have kids, like, I did not want to be that type of person that was living on my boss's schedule. Like, it just didn't seem it just didn't seem normal to me. To a lot of people it is normal. Like, that's just your life. Like, that's just how things go. But to me, I just was like, it just didn't seem normal. And so, I think that to be able to have a life where you can choose to choose what you want to do when you want to do it and still be successful in your career, I mean, that's unlike something that most people dream of, and then they don't have that.
I feel like, boy, so I feel like it's a kind of like a narrow mindset. And I used to have it. I really did. And I had a friend when I was my high school friend. We went into two different directions in college, but I remember like she had a at-home business job. And I remember thinking like, is this because you can't keep employment? Is this because you didn't finish college? Like, I remember having those thoughts in my head. And I'm like, well, you're working from home. You're not busy. Like, I remember having that mindset. And now looking back, I'm like, she was ahead of all of us. Like, and I remember she was like, she didn't want somebody to dictate her life. And it
Yeah.
was so funny because when we were younger, like she dropped out of college because she's like, I don't want to work for anybody else. I want to work for myself. And I haven't talked to her in years. I don't know where she's at, but she always had this mindset of, I'm going to work for myself. And I was like, well, I'm going to, work hard and be a good little working bee. And it's
Yeah.
so funny because I actually ran into her dad at the dog park about 2 years ago with Bronson, maybe 3 years ago now. And at that time, I was the business owner and the daughter wasn't there. But I saw on social media that she was, I think, working at a car dealership and selling cars. So it's interesting how like our roles had reversed. And now I'm like, no, she was ahead of it. Like, I hope she does have her own business now. I don't know. But looking back, like she was ahead of it. And that's when I still think some people in vet med have that. If you're not working in a clinic, um, or in even a research setting, then you're not practicing at your license. But yet human nurses, it's accepted and it's what they aspire to be is working in aesthetics. And it's just to me, it seems crazy. Like, wow, why can't we get on the same board? And I've had this conversation with you before about my husband's buddy's wife, who's a human nurse, and she travels, loves it. It's accepted. And she's just graduated school like a couple years ago. But with us, if we burn out and we're old and we're tired and we don't want to do it anymore, then we're like, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. You can't be doing that now.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I love the fact that Brandy brought that up, and I love she was crocheting in that video. That's the funny part. Is the way she's like just crocheting, like, yep. I love it. Like I'm watching her, I'm like, I could just see the thoughts in her head, like, that's Brandy. I'm like, she's awesome. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up, Brandy. We appreciate it. Yeah.
And then also just from our most recent interview with Daphne, right? It was Daphne's.
It was Daphne's, yes.
Yeah, it was Daphne's grandmother. She inboxed us just to say how proud she was of her granddaughter and how much she just, loved listening. Yeah, and so that was really nice and sweet.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. Like I feel like there's a community of us starting to get to know each other a little bit.
Yeah.
And me and you we're starting to get to know these other techs. And it's so adorable because out of all the things I was expecting to get inboxed, never did I have grandparents on our list.
Right.
I did not expect that. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, we have to talk about it on the show just for a minute and give Daphne, you got some wonderful grandparents. Mine are deceased. So that made my heart flutter a little bit because I'm like, I wish mine were alive to be proud of me. So Daphne, we are very proud of you. Your episode was amazing. And hopefully we'll have you back on in a year to see where you're up to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So thank you, Daphne's grandma, Ida. That was really sweet. It just kind of made our day.
Thank you.
And then the next thing, I don't know if we talked about it, but I know I came up with the idea of just wanting to do a vet tech salute, once an episode. Just if I see a vet tech on social media or if Jen sees a vet tech, whether it be relief work, mobile work, or any vet tech who owns their business and they do something cool, let's highlight them. Maybe we don't need a whole episode to go with that, but let's right now highlight them. Let's show other people what other vet techs are doing besides me and Jen, besides our guest, and just highlighting these people who are having these great moments. So if you are listening and you are a relief tech, a business owner, a mobile tech, and you have an awesome moment, inbox it to us. We have our email and all the links. Let us know these stories because we want to hear them. We want to read them on the air. We can keep you private. We can keep you anonymous, but we want other vet techs to be inspired by what you're doing as well. So even if you're kind of shy about being on a show, let us know something cool you did and we'll be happy to discuss it and talk about it and give you a salute.
Yep, absolutely.
Yes. So I saw this in the Unattached Vet Tech group and I thought this was really cool. So Julia Miller, she owns Helping Paws LVT Relief Services. She actually lives up here in Michigan. She's actually from my area, my old stomping grounds. And she put into the group, I'm literally so excited. I received a phone call today from our local hockey team. They're doing a Paws for Pucks night in a couple of weeks. Someone gave them my contact information and they want me to do a booth. The kicker, I'll be allowed to offer nail trims while I'm there. I only have about an hour before the game starts where people will be walking around, but they said they will position me near the outside area where the dogs can go potty. How cool is that? So they reached out to her. They found her. Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. Good work. I think that's really cool because the public is now seeing, vet techs doing relief work and vet techs doing mobile work. The public is now seeing that right there at their hockey games. So yeah, definitely hats off and salute to Julia.
Yeah. Good advertisement right there.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Let us know how that goes.
Yeah. Question of the week this week is, it looked like Michelle got a direct message from TikTok that it stated, I'm a vet tech and I'm wanting to start my own business. You have given me the inspiration and courage to start my own business. Do you have a specific software that you use for booking and scheduling? Also, what is the most important thing in your contract?
All right. Jen, what about you?
So I'm super old school. I hate software. I hate I don't and I'm also cheap. I'm gonna just admit that too right now. If
you
there's
are a little
something
cheap from what you told me.
If there's something that I can do that I don't have to because I don't want to pay for it, that I can just do myself and figure it out myself, I won't use it. So for booking and scheduling, I just use my handy dandy calendar. my physical calendar in my office and my calendar in, you know, on my phone. I did go through a couple hoops to try to figure out, like getting a website and trying to do like booking and scheduling on a website and everything. But I don't know. Honestly, to me, I was doing just fine booking and scheduling just through email and just through personally talking with the managers. And I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm not big enough yet, but I think that's a little bit different. If I was doing what Michelle was doing, I probably would have a software. Because I don't know, maybe that would be different. But like I said, I'm pretty old fashioned and I'm pretty good at keeping track of talking to people just through email and then keeping them on my schedule and booking them on my calendar. And then as far as what's the most important thing in my contract for relief, the most important thing in my contract, I would say the most important thing that I have in my contract for doing relief is that I'm scheduled from this time to this time, and I will not be working past the time that's stated that we agreed on. And if for some reason I do have on my contract that I have a 30-minute grace period because obviously it's Batman. And I think that's only fair, right? Because if you have to do rounds or you have to, you know, finish up or write your notes or something like that, I have a 30-minute grace period. But then after that, I believe I double my price. And even if I don't work for that full hour on my contract, I still charge. So I'm like, if I am staying later than what we agreed to, then you're paying me double. And it's not like how like when you clock in, clock out, like, oh, okay, well, I only worked like 15 minutes as a part of this hour, so you're only going to pay me for 15 minutes. No, if I'm still there, no matter what time I leave, you're paying me double for that entire hour, whether I'm pretty stickler about that. Because, I mean, obviously we know in vet med how easily manipulated we are on staying late. So as relief, I'm agreeing to work the hours that were agreed upon. And there should be no reason for you to expect me to stay later than what we agreed upon because I'm a contracted worker. So that's how I feel about that. But I'm also a really big stickler on leaving on time too. So that's why that's important to me. And again, it's one of those things where, and heck, okay, so say that I am staying late. You guys are gonna. It's one of those things where I've literally told people I can stay later, but I can guarantee that your company doesn't want to pay me for it because that's how much they're paying me a lot more than what they want to just for me to stay for those extra couple of minutes or that extra hour. So to me, I don't think it's worth the company for them to want me to stay over than what we already agreed upon. So
I love your confidence there. You're like, they don't want to pay it. It's like your way of ensuring that you're going to get out on time, you know?
Yeah.
Goes back to Brandy's video. We want to get out on time.
Yeah. But I also think it's fair to at least have that 30-minute grace period, at least for the company.
So. I think it's very gracious. Yeah, I think a 30-minute grace period is very, very gracious. That gives, in a situation, gives people time to like, okay, who's staying late? If we don't want to pay extra for the relief tech, who's doing it tonight? Raise your hands. Yeah, gives you enough time to think of a plan.
Yeah, it's not going to be me.
Not gonna be you. It's not gonna be me.
And people listening, they're probably like, wow, Jen's kind of a bitch about that. I don't know, maybe, but
nah.
That's just, I've been doing this long enough. I used to work, 12-hour shifts and be there for 16 hours, I mean, I paid my dues. I've done it.
You paid your dues.
I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
So, and that's the whole point of me being my own boss too. So, I'm here to work the hours that we agreed upon, the scheduled hours. And you can't be mad at me if I don't do more than what we've agreed upon. You really can't. So, yeah. So, yeah, so that's me. What about you, Michelle?
That's solid. I love it. Okay, so for me, I'm kind of old school right along with Jen. So I actually use Google Calendars. So that's my software that I use. I know a lot of the girls in the group, like they use Cuddles and Time to Pet. I know those are popular. I think they're free. Um, but I like Google Calendars, even though they had this update and it's driving me nuts. And I can't open up the calendar anymore and directly text the client now. Now it like highlights the whole appointment. I'm like, no, I just see the number highlighted, so I can't direct call. So I'm actually in the market for an app myself now because that just added on like 15 minutes of my morning. So now I'm looking for an app. But up until that change, because I had this scheduled to be on this for a couple weeks, that change just happened like 2 days ago. So now I'm in the market, but it was Google Apps, but I can't say that anymore. So if anybody has any, let me know. But up until then, I loved Google Maps. Just they made one little
Google
change.
Calendar, right?
Google Calendar, yes. I use Google Calendar and I use Google Maps. I use both of them. I use Google Calendar
Okay.
for all of my appointments, and then I use Google Maps to get there and to figure out what's the best fuel efficient route. So, but now I'll be using Google Calendar probably for everyday life and trying to find an app for my mobile nail trimming appointments.
I will
Yeah.
say, and I don't want to interrupt you, Michelle, but I just want to add on. I do use a map for my mileage.
Okay.
I use Mile IQ map or
Okay.
Mile IQ app. It's only like $8 a month.
Okay.
But I believe like the first something miles are free.
Okay.
But then once I started traveling, then it was like I was going over that. So then I just started paying for it. That is an app that I use to help to do mileage. How do you keep track of your mileage and stuff for write-offs and things like that?
You promise not to tease me?
No.
Do I write it down on a
You
piece
write
of
yours
paper?
down? Okay.
Do I write it down? I have a
I
like one of
was at
those, yeah.
first, but then
Oh,
I
you
got
were?
lazy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what's the name of it again, Jen?
It's called Mile IQ app. And I love it. With one of the clinics that I do regular relief at every week, I already just have it already set in the app that that these are business mileages. So I don't even have to swipe every time. But usually every time I do some sort of little drive from a destination to a destination, it'll pop up and I'll be like, is this business or is this personal? So then I can swipe, over to personal, or you can swipe that it's business, and then it keeps track of all of your mileage for business, and then it tells you how much money that you've logged too. And then I can send it over to my accountant if I want to. Like I can email it to my accountant. I haven't really done that. Usually when I go in for the meeting, I have everything logged for every month. But I like it. I like the app.
I should do that. Woodrow, my accountant, would just be in love if I did that because I'm terrible with it, and I'm just
And
like,
it's
can you do this?
$8 a month for the
It's
basic,
affordable.
and that's a write-off too.
It's a write-off. Yeah, it's for business. Yeah, I love we do this podcast. I love it because I'm gonna later on tonight look into my IQ and probably do that. That way I can get that sticky note off my dashboard. That's literally I got a sticky note taped onto my dashboard every day. I just take the paper off and
Yeah.
throw it in the box. Just terrible. Oh God, it's terrible. But I'm improving. We're all here to learn, everybody.
Yeah, and then you can even set up, which if you want to go super detailed, which I'm not that detailed, but you can even set up per vehicle that you're in. So your actual vehicle that you drive in, it will keep track of drives that you do when you're not in your actual car though either, which is why you have to do it's personal or business. But that's why you can also just set up and be like, oh, we weren't even in my business car. We were in if we were in my husband's truck, kind of thing. And kind of keep track of it that way if you want to, but I don't do that. I'm usually just like, no, that was personal, and then business. So
Nice. Thanks for
Yeah.
telling us about that one. I like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
sounds
mean
like
to
I'm
interrupt
shopping.
what you were saying. I just remembered that was something that I used. So
No, it's good to know. And how many times have I interrupted you? So we just like, ooh, idea, bam, and we throw it out there. So no, it's good. Oh, I love it. And then what's most important in my contract? It's actually similar to Jen's. It's my cancellation policy. I'm a stickler for my time, just like Jen. My time is valuable. And so I make sure to actually put that at the end of my onboarding form, because I think it's like the curve where people learn. If they're reading something, they always learn the first bit and the last bit, but never the middle bit. So I put the least important stuff in the middle of my contract, but at the very end, it says my cancellation policy. Because I'm like, if they're going to do that whole, like, you know, the brain is going to focus on what's
Wishy-washy.
more important. Yeah, I want
Mhm.
them to know that there's a cancellation policy, because when they do cancel at the last minute, per my onboarding form, I do have that 48-hour cancellation policy. And here is what we're going to be doing now. So to me, that's the most important thing, because time is money.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, TikTok person. And again, I'll keep those private. Sometimes I feel like I don't know if everybody wants us to know, but she is a vet tech, and yeah. So I hope that helped her and other vet techs out there. And if anybody else has any ones that they use, let us know, because we're all here to learn. So now getting into the meat and potatoes of our episode, I feel, especially because it's coming around the holidays, this is a really good episode. Looking into this, I wanted to look back on my past working in the veterinary clinics to my future and where I'm at currently with owning a business, and the same with Jen, like looking back of when she was employed at a vet clinic and now that she's relieving, how does that look for us? Like, what's the differences? What's the good? What's the bad? Because I feel like the holidays are a time for vet techs where a lot of us put ourselves in another mindset when we have to work the next day, or we have to work the day before, and we say, boy, I wish I was so and so I could have 2 weeks off. My husband historically has had the last 2 weeks off of the year. He's always had like the week of Christmas, the week of New Year's, and it goes back like the 1st of January. This year that's changed though. And yeah, so he's actually working Christmas Eve. And I'm like,
Oh,
who
wow.
the fuck needs an accountant, okay, on Christmas Eve? I hope none of his
Isn't that
coworkers
like
listen to
the
this.
story of the Christmas Carol? Wasn't like Scrooge, wasn't he? Or was he a tax collector or something? I thought he was an accountant or something. I don't know. He worked on
God,
Christmas
that makes
Eve
sense.
and Christmas.
Okay, at least they gave him Christmas Day off. But yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so many jobs, and I actually had one. There's so many jobs where they just kind of shut down for the last 2 weeks of the
Yeah.
year, and
Hmm.
and it's like us vet techs, we're like, well, we got to work the day before, we got to work the day after, and then that's when we start like, boy, I wish we had
Well, and
a normal
emergency
job.
technicians, they work the whole
They
damn
work it.
holiday. They were like a lot of them are expected to, or they at least have, they have to work a portion. So yeah, there ain't no holidays off.
I was gonna say, how did that, before you became a business owner, like before you started your business, how did it look for you for far as
Holidays for
holidays?
me were really depressing. I'm gonna be completely honest.
Honest.
Yeah, like because I just knew that that was gonna be the busiest time of the year and that I was gonna have to work. And it was easier for me to just ignore that it was even a holiday. Like it got to that point. When I was a kid, obviously the holidays were great. Um, Big family thing, always exciting. Um, when I worked in general practice, it wasn't as bad, but when I moved on to emergency, holidays were just depressing. And again, like I said, and then during those times too, I was with somebody else who also worked in the medical field, my ex-husband, who
The human
eventually,
nurse?
yeah, the human
What
nurse.
we're just talking about? Okay.
And and even with him, it was just more of like, well, we don't have kids, holidays aren't, we have to work them anyway, so we really just didn't celebrate them. Like I can think of a handful of times we didn't even have a Christmas tree up. Like we just pretended like it wasn't a thing. And then like I said, I had to work, and so I had family that was celebrating the holidays, but they never really planned they never planned that crap up around me and when I
Yeah.
was able to be there. So I missed it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, is like most vet techs, especially, yeah, the emergency gals, like you're missing out. Like, and I feel like that is one of the allures of being your own boss, is you might have Christmas this year with your kids. Like, you don't have to miss it. And you're right. Like, if you're working on Christmas Day, a lot of families can't work can't celebrate the day before the day after. And you're
Yeah.
juggling the in-laws, you're juggling the spouses, family, and you're juggling multiple families now. We're not just all gathering up at grandma's table anymore. Now we have multi-generational families. And the world doesn't stop around one person.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of techs miss out on the holidays, and I could see it. That's where the depression sits in. That's where we pretend like it's just another day at work,
Yep.
and
Yep. I used to say that all the time. It's just another day.
it's just another day. But
Yeah, just
it
to get
shouldn't be.
through it. And I would say too, I mean, I would say a lot of times that's why a lot of people don't even want to work in emergency because they don't want to miss out on the holidays. And I could probably have people say, "Well, you chose that, right? Like that's what you get for working in emergency." But I mean, and that was a sacrifice that I had to do because I didn't want to work in general practice because I love emergency so much. Um it's just it's just a part of the deal. But it's really sad.
No, you're right. It is. It's part of the deal, but then I feel like, and this is GP tech, just kind of peering into the world of emergency. I feel like also too at the same time, at least from all the clinics I worked at, like we respect the shit out of emergency people who are working Christmas. Absolutely. Like you didn't choose it. However, when you signed up for that job, you knew that that was probably going to happen and you still
Right.
chose it anyway. Cause a lot of us, I never chose it. I didn't
Yeah.
choose it because of the holidays. I chose it because I'm like, I crack under pressure. Be terrible. I would mess them up and kill something. Like that's why I didn't go into emergency. And even myself, like at the holidays, I think of the techs who are in emergency. Like I'm in all those tech groups and I see all of us, to all of you who are working Christmas Eve, Godspeed. And we're like,
Mhm.
we, so we all know it's so hard. And
Yeah.
I love how Jen found a balance because you still love emergency. Like that's your
Mhm.
jam.
Yep.
But with your own business, you're still able to do emergency, but now you just get out on time. Now you don't
Yeah.
have to work the holidays. So you found that
Yeah.
blend to suit your
Yeah.
life.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you miss anything about the holidays working, like, in a clinic setting? Like, well, I mean, being employed?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I really don't. I'm just trying
Really?
to get back. I mean I mean, maybe I miss a little bit of just like being in that family, that family team setting and everybody's celebrating and everyone's really close and like the holiday parties and things like that. But I mean, compared to what I have now, I mean, and even we and you were just talking about this, right? Like I this year, I was actually planning on not working the holidays because I was like, this is the first year where I actually get to choose and I actually get to enjoy like the holidays and I'm going to do that. And then I got offered this really good holiday job for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it was like and I was like, okay, well, but you're going to pay me holiday rates for all those days. And they were like, yeah, absolutely. And it was almost like, well, gosh, it would be stupid of me to not take those jobs. So I took them. Um, but obviously, as we know, I've talked about it enough times, my health has really not been great the past couple weeks. And it was decided between me, my husband, and my doctor that that I was not going to be able to travel this year for my holiday work. And so I had to cancel those shifts for my health. And, that was really, really hard for me. It was really hard for me to have to cancel those shifts. But at the same time, I'm gonna admit it was also a relief that I actually had a legit excuse to be able to actually just like, I'm gonna have the holidays off this year, and I'm actually gonna have, something to celebrate, and I'm actually gonna be able to just like truly be able to enjoy the holidays like a normal person. And that's really weird for me. It's really crazy. And um, so I have a lot of mixed emotions about it right now because obviously it's a big part of my job and my business. But again, you know, we're also talking about health in this as well, and my health has to come first. And thankfully, when I canceled these shifts and I was very transparent with them and I let them know what was going on with me and why I wasn't going to be able to travel, they were very, very understanding. And as soon as they were like, well, as soon as you're able to travel again, please let us know. We'd love to have you back. Too, for me, was like very uplifting, right? Like, obviously I've made a difference that even though I'm having to cancel these big jobs, like these are big jobs, like they're needing people on these holidays. Obviously they're emergency clinics. I mean, I know, I get it. I've done it long enough. But for them to still even just want me back after that means a lot to me. And I think it speaks a lot about my work ethic, maybe. Like I said, at the same time, as hard as it was for me to cancel, like I said, I was like, wow, I'm actually relieved. Like I actually get to celebrate this
Day.
year, like a holiday.
Yes.
And I actually have like a legit excuse to to be like, I can't.
Yeah, I get it.
So I don't know. Maybe I don't, does that make me sound bad?
It does not make you sound bad. It makes you sound relieved. You are tired and relieved. No, no. And there should be nothing bad about wanting to spend the holidays with your family, no matter what way you celebrate it. But there should be nothing wrong or feeling guilty about that. And you've earned it. You put a lot of work into your business. I mean, just even talking about your contract, you put so much time and effort into this that it's only fair that you can pick out your days that you're going to work and you're not going to work. You've earned those Christmases off. And I don't think that sounds bad at all. Again, you earn that. You put in a lot of time and a lot of effort into your business and you know, to build up your business and to build up your reputation. Again, God, we're going on 6 months now, I think. In the six
Yeah.
months I've been talking with you, like, I know you well enough to know that you're hardcore. Like, if you say you're going to be there, come hell or high water, you're going to be there. So for this first year to be like, you know what, I'm not doing it, and Godspeed. Spend time with your husband.
Right.
Decorate the damn tree.
Yeah.
Watch Charlie Brown. Do whatever you want to do because you've earned it at this point. We're older. We've earned it. Like, we've
Right.
been through the trenches.
And I just think of how often I've put work
Family.
before everything else. Yeah, before
Me too.
family. And I don't want to do that anymore, and I want to enjoy the people that bring my life happiness. And I just want to feel like, I want to feel like those people who are like, it's Christmas, and then just so happy, and then they decorate their house. Like, I used to be that person. I used to be that person, and then I stopped being that person because I had to work. And it was easier to just pretend like I didn't care because I knew I had to work. And so now I want to have something to celebrate. I want to be happy about the holidays. Like me and like when I was little, we used to watch like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer like those classics of God, what was that one that we watched? Like it was like my favorite one. The Year Without a Santa Claus. You know, like all of those things are, like you said, Charlie Brown Christmas. I used to watch all that stuff as a kid, and there used to just be so much to celebrate, and I used to be a lot closer to my family, and I feel like my career really separated me from that, and I got lost. I got lost in that, and so I'm really hoping to start getting that love of the holidays back.
Yeah. And this year is probably going to be it happens.
Yeah.
You've worked so hard for this, and you're right. A lot of us, yeah, it's just another day. Or you've seen the memes like, oh, everybody's celebrating back when we had Black Friday, but everybody's saying,
Yeah.
yay, Black Friday. We're saying, yay, foreign body.
Or like
Like,
pancreatitis, or yeah.
pancreatitis. Yeah, as vet techs, we've normalized working all of these holidays. And obviously, in emergency and critical care, it's needed.
Yes,
But
it
I
is.
I hope at least the management team makes it as fair as possible, given the situations of everybody probably wants it off. And
Yeah.
I know as far as GP, like shut your clinic down. Just close it down. I'm sorry. If you're a GP, you do not need to be open the day
Yeah.
before Christmas. You do not need to be, I mean, if you are, maybe a few hours to like, so people can pick up their last minute meds or something, maybe in the
Right.
morning, but not the day after. Like, I feel like the day after, because you're having to dread, oh man, I just had the holidays off. I had this amazing time, but now I have to wake up the next day and go into work.
Well,
Like,
and the holidays are like
yeah,
busy, busy, busy too,
yeah,
right? It's a lot. Like it's a lot emotionally, and then you're like a lot of people are having to see multiple family members.
yep,
And then I know that, I mean, some people don't get along 100% with their families, but they are still putting themselves in those situations of being around those family members. And so that's a lot too for them to have to handle. I mean, it's just a lot. It's just a lot of mental stimulation that whole week. And then on top of it, then you're also, trying to get work in, and it's just a lot.
yeah, it is. So, I mean, I see it. I mean, and when I look back on my like previous holidays being in the industry, like I look at a lot of them with like joy. Like you said, I miss those coworker like the annual Christmas parties.
Yeah.
I miss us, doing the secret Santas.
Hmm.
And I miss that teamwork and like the one day a year where we all got along. Like right? I miss those days. And I mean, I'll just tell you the wild one. The wild one I was talking about earlier. Like, I'm going to tell you about this one. So this is my best Christmas party ever in any company I've worked for. When I was very young, I worked for this clinic. We were crazy. Doc would hire anybody at any time. And this was 2010, so jobs were scarce. He had this ragtag team of everybody was under the age of 25. Our doc didn't care. He was wild. Him and his wife were just wild. Like they brought all their shit into the clinic. Like it was just always something going on. And in true fashion, we had a wild Christmas party. He didn't plan it to be wild, but we were wild. So it got just, oh my God, I'm even blushing thinking about this. So he rented out a bumper car thingy-mabobber. You know those back, I mean, I don't even think they have them anymore, but like you could do bumper cars. You can rent out like a whole like little stadium and like run into each other and ram each other.
Okay. I've never
God,
heard of that, but
I'm aging myself. Okay, bumper cars. Yeah. So like you can go to like maybe like a ice hockey stadium, I would say. And they
okay.
can, yeah, and they like probably during the off season do like bumper cars. Maybe they have an extra one. I don't know, but I remember he rented out this big bumper car room.
Hmm.
But they went to Mexico like a couple weeks before. So they brought us back all this freaking booze.
Oh,
So
yeah.
what do? We started drinking it and we started playing bumper cars. And everybody just brought their own food. So we were all drunk playing bumper cars. My coworker, I will never forget this, got so tanked. And they have these big plastic things to protect everybody, like, the big plastic, like, scenes to, like, keep the ice in there and to keep the bumper cars from coming out. She lifted up her top and put her boobs up to it and flashed the entire office.
My gosh.
God, that was my favorite one because you know what? Nobody cared. So we were all laughing and pointing, like,
My gosh.
drunk off these booze from Mexico at a rented out like bumper car place. Like that was the wildest shit I've ever seen. And it was
Yeah.
fun. Like
Yeah.
it was fun. That clinic was crazy, a good crazy.
Hmm.
But that to me, I miss that part.
Right.
One of my other clinics, our DBM was like 100. He couldn't even hit a vein of his life depending on it. Like he was ready to retire. He was. But like he always had us at his house for
That's
Christmas.
nice.
And we did a secret Santa. I think they gave us like $50 or $100 cash.
Hmm.
And we had a potluck and we sat around in his living room. And I loved the intimacy of that one.
Hmm.
Oh, that one was such a fun one. So I don't have any other clinic settings, and you hear my voice changing. I don't hear, or I don't have any like really negative clinic experiences working around the holidays. Because I think also I was like you, it's part of the job. I'm going to work Christmas Eve. I'm going to work the day after Christmas. But we always had our fun holiday parties. And I remember wishing, like, God, I wish I had 2 weeks off. You know what? I wish I was like my boyfriend, who is now my husband, who worked at a bank, who would have the time off. Like, and I remember wishing that. So now that I own my own business, I'm like, I'm going to make that happen. And that's what I did. For the past 4 years, I don't work the holidays. I don't work the day before. I don't work the day after. This year for Christmas, I am going to work Christmas Eve because it's my shortest route of the month. I have like three to five appointments on that route. Like, it is a
Okay.
small town, very far
Yeah.
away. So I'm going to work it. I just don't have anywhere else to put them. I'll be done by 10:30.
Yeah.
So I'm going to make an exception for that one. But if it was like a bigger, heavier route, I would be moving them around.
Right.
Are scheduled for the day after Christmas. I'm actually moving them up to the 18th. But
Mhm.
then I also have to work a Saturday every now and then too. I can't smash 2 routes onto one. So I
Right.
have to start thinking logistically, like,
Yeah.
what I'm going to do. So I start moving people around. So I still may have to work a weekend in there sometimes, but it depends on where the holidays fall on what routes. I can't control it because it repeats every 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So it really does depend, but that's what it's like as a business owner. But then again, looking back at the clinics, and if anybody's watching this, Jen, you see it, like, my face is gleaming, like, I'm smiling, like, I
Mhm.
have fond memories of the clinics.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the corporate for a minute and what I
Yeah.
experienced there.
Okay.
All right, let's go there. So I worked for a veterinary distribution company pre-COVID. So we were all in the office. And do you think they let us go on Christmas Eve? No. What they did is our business hours were from 9 to 6, and it was a large corporation, so they only let, like, they would raffle off the holidays essentially. Like, they would go to everybody and be like, "You either get the day after Thanksgiving off or you get Christmas Eve off." Like, that was their thing when I worked for the distribution company. I know, right? I see your face. Yeah, it was super ugh, and you only got X amount of time to take off for the year. And if you didn't use it, you lost it. But then because we're in sales, and if anybody's listening to this in sales, you know, like, you got to make your quota. You know, you can't just take days off. You know that you have to be where you're expected to be. And that burned my ass because I remember cold calling veterinary clinics, all of us on Christmas Eve after like 12 o'clock. They're all closing down. And here's all of us at this sales company. We're selling pharmaceuticals, cold calling these clinics and leaving voicemails. And we all are like, this is so dumb. These clinics are probably wondering why we're calling them on Christmas Eve. I'm like, because if we don't hit our dials, our boss is going to jump down our ass, even if it is Christmas Eve, because we're owned by a massive corporation.
Right.
So, yeah, I remember working 6 p.m. Christmas Eve, cold calling clinics. Hi, this is Michelle from so-and-so distribution company. Just want to let you know our specials at 5:45
Oh my
on Christmas
gosh.
Eve.
Were they even
Oh,
answering their phones?
oh no. By that time, like, every year, I was there for 3 Christmases, I think. And
Yeah, you're
every
having to
year,
leave voicemails messages.
yeah. Yeah, because here's the thing. And if you're in sales, you know this. You got to get that dial in. And a dial doesn't count until 10 seconds in. So a lot of times, a lot of us were like, listening to zoo, like we would call a zoo, and just do like press 1, press 2, press 3,
Oh.
because that would get us our 10 seconds. Like, that's a snazzy little trick I probably shouldn't be saying, but I don't work there anymore. It's been close to 10 years now. So that was a lot of us to do that. Or we would call these random numbers that would show up a dial and just loop through the voicemails of pressing different options. And a lot of people kept a list, by the way, of ones they would cycle through every now and then. So we had to do that. And it's like, why are you making your employees do this? Just send us home.
Yeah.
So Christmas Eve, and we've all heard me talk about my best friend Ada. That's where I met her, is that company. I will never forget. It was like 5 o'clock. Even my boss at the time, Randy, he was like, I remember he's just chewing his gum, staring at us, smiling, because he's like, I'm not going to force you guys, like, whatever, right? And he was even mad that he was there. Like, even the boss was
Yeah.
ticked off. He was like, yeah, it's bullshit. I was like, so let's do something fun, everybody. And I was like, who wants to learn some MMA today? And it was just maybe like a small group of us, half of us were gone, and the half of us that were left, I'm like, let's do some demonstrations. And I was like, all right, everybody. And I remember I got Ada and I was like, so this is how you knock somebody over. And I made the demonstration of like getting behind her and pulling her shoulder and knocking out her foot. And I'm like, and then you get on top of them. So I got on top of my friend. I'm like, make sure to squeeze with your thighs, everybody. And I took her and like, okay, protect with one hand and beat with the other hand. That's what we did on Christmas Eve. I gave a demonstration how to properly fight and defend yourself. Because at the time I was doing MMA. It's been a while. I never got into a ring, everybody. I was a little person that was there to work out with the actual real men who did the job. Okay. I was the cheerleader. But I learned how to fight. And so I remember like literally the corporation was like, you have to work. And I'm like, let's do a fighting demonstration. My boss is laughing so hard. And I remember now she's my best friend. I just remember, okay, here's how you hit everybody. But we had to do it to survive. It was a different
Yeah.
survival technique. We were all mad that we were there Christmas Eve. Like you, we're like, it's just another day.
Yeah.
That one sucked. That one sucked because there was no reason. I can make, you know, Jen needs to be there, emergency critical care needs to be there, but not
Yeah.
salespeople.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's stupid. That
That
doesn't
was
make any
stupid.
sense.
And let me tell you, the embarrassment of cold calling these clinics on Christmas Eve every year was just,
Yeah.
we're looking bad, but we couldn't convince the company that was,
Yeah.
making us look bad, but you have to get your dials in, you have to get your talk time in. But yeah, I remember doing that. And that was like our fun thing was everybody learning how to fight who worked at that distribution company that year.
Wow.
I think it was 2015 too. Yeah, it was 2015. So right about 10 years ago now.
Huh. That's
Yep.
crazy.
That was our survival. Yeah. So that's the one that makes me I look back and I get angry that I let that company control me, control my
Mhm.
life. I should have been like, no, my dad has Alzheimer's. This is probably going to be one of his last Christmases, which he had four after that. I should be spending time with him. But no, I was there teaching everybody unofficial self-defense lessons. Like that's the part that just gets me. So don't be like that. And then I did work for my last company, which was a corporation of veterinary clinics. I had two different bosses. The first boss was marketing. He was cool. He actually shut it down for like 2 weeks and sent all the marketing home. We had pay. Like it was like a real adult job. Yeah, they treated us like adults. Um, I remember walking in and I'm like, where is everybody? How come we're not here? It was like maybe, a week or two before Christmas. I walked in on Monday. I'm like, where are we? Where? And I text my coworker and she's like, oh, our boss didn't give you the memo. We're done until like the 5th. I'm like, oh, that's cool. And I went to my desk and there was my gift card for my boss.
Nice.
Yeah, he was cool. He was the marketing guy. And to this day, like, I still respect him a lot because he was that boss who's like, do whatever you want. Just get your job done. I don't care. You cannot show up for 3 days. He wouldn't notice unless you didn't, hit the radar.
Yeah.
That was cool. The boss after that, when I worked under operations, she was like, oh, no, 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 no. You're working. In fact, I'm going to compile you guys with more work because this is the time that we can get work done. So the boss after that, who is the boss of the operations team, put me and the other girl and grinded us all throughout Christmas. That's my last one with that company. Yeah, but I think there's a different culture in marketing versus operations. Operations, you get the job done. Marketing, you just have fun and get your job done. Like two different areas.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can say I've had the good and the bad for sure, but I'm still learning how to balance holidays out as a business owner.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna take a little bit of time because, like I said, like I originally already had it in my head. I was like, I'm not gonna work Thanksgiving and I'm not gonna work Christmas Eve or Christmas, but I'll probably work the other days. And then I got those offers, and then I was like, well, it'd be stupid of me
Good money.
to say no. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but then it's I think it obviously wasn't meant to be. I think that, definitely God has other plans for me right now,
It does.
just with my circumstances that's going on. So, I think it's also really hard for technicians to, obviously, it's really hard for us to put ourselves first in anything. and then to really seriously think about our health and things like that. And then if we do have to put our health first, it just doesn't seem right. So that's kind of something that I'm struggling with right now too. Being a business owner.
See, so you feel like as a business owner, you're letting these people down by saying, "Hey, I can't work," even though you have a doctor's note. Like it, you still have that business owner's guilt.
Yeah. And I even told them, I wrote them, I was very, very transparent with them of what was going on. And I said, if you need a doctor's note, I'm happy to give you one. And they didn't even ask me for one because I think they, obviously they know. And I was very upfront saying, like, I hope you know that there would be no other reason why I wouldn't take this job other than my health. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially, with me being a new business owner and things like that. But, I also, I have to take things in strides, and I have to also definitely in a season where I have to go where, I have to stick to God's plan for me, and it's not in his plan. And it wasn't originally in my plan either.
Yeah, that seems you originally weren't talking. I remember like we talked about this. You're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, I'm not working the holidays," and then
yeah,
you got a really good offer, and you're like, "Ooh, that's
right.
some good money."
Yeah,
So yeah, you weren't. I feel like it was kind of the plan anyway for you not to work. Like
right.
either way, that's the
It
plan was
was
for you not to work.
originally. So, like, yeah, this is just the plan. This is his plan right now, and I just have to 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 do it and to actually, like I said, like rest. So, but it's still a
Exactly.
struggle. It's not easy.
No, it's
You don't
not.
just get out of that easily.
No, you don't. And when you own your own business, that is a huge struggle. Is when you've performed so high for others and they're used to that performance. And if you do go down or if you want the holidays off, then it's like you do have this internal struggle. Because I've been sick a few times. I had COVID wipe me out a few years ago and I felt terrible. I felt like I failed everybody. And all of my clients are like, yeah, no worries. We can wait. Take your time. Like, I feel like us technicians, I don't know why, but we put so much pressure on ourselves.
Yeah.
So, too much. Not so much,
Yeah.
but too much pressure.
Yeah.
So, and even as business owners, we still have that guilt, but we
Mhm.
shouldn't.
Yeah. So, but I am looking forward to the holidays this year. I will say that. So, it'll be different. It'll definitely be different. But I mean, but that's the point of owning our own business, right? We get to choose the hours. We get to choose
Yep.
our hours of what we
Yep.
want to do. And we don't have to be forced into it by our bosses.
Heck no. Yeah. That's a good, yeah. And that's, yeah, you take it off and you do what you want. I'm taking, let me see here. So, Christmas is on a Wednesday. So, I'm still working Christmas Eve, actually. I
Okay.
will, yeah. Hang on. I got this wrong. Yeah, because I got to think of my schedule. Yeah. So, anyway, I know I'm working Christmas Eve and I am not going to be working the day after Christmas, which is a Thursday, and I'm not going to be working the Friday after. I'm taking that whole week off. So, I'm still working. I'm only working Tuesday of that week because Christmas is on a Wednesday. And Mondays are my days off. So I'm only working one day that week. But I'll tell you what, though, the week before and the week after are going to be a ride. They're
Yeah.
absolute because all those clients, so I had to move, they're going to be on the other days. And I can expect a normal amount of cancellations during the work week.
Mhm.
However, during Christmas, nobody lets their pet snails go long because they're all expecting company over and they don't want
Oh.
the yeah. So I could tell you what, usually the week or two before Christmas, there's no cancellations because they're like, oh, my family's coming down. Like, I don't want them the clickety clackety on the floor. So I stay really busy.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a very busy time for me. And then I don't do this anymore, but I used to get these. So there are actual people, and I'm actually gonna post a TikTok about this, who only do like nail trims on their pets like twice a year. And one of them's the holidays right before their family comes around. And I get bombarded with those guys where they literally have not trimmed their nails in a year, but their family's coming around and they're like, we want this right before Christmas, right now, because we don't want these nails looking like we've neglected the dog. And I've seen in this line of work where you see all day long, like, dude, they're as long as my highlighter on some occasions. I'm like, that's just insane. Yeah, they just
Yeah.
ignore it. Yeah. So it's, I'm actually, this is my first year. I'm going to decline those annual people. I'm starting to get those annual people in already with
Wow.
Thanksgiving coming up. Yeah, with Thanksgiving coming up, they're going to have their guest over for Thanksgiving. I've kept track of the ones who've only called me Thanksgiving and
Wow.
Christmas the
That's
past couple of
crazy.
years. Yep. And I'm like, I already know. And each time I'm like, I need you to come in more often. But I feel like if I'm allowing this to happen,
Yeah.
first of all, it clogs up my schedule as somebody who's never
Mhm.
going to stay committed to me.
Right.
Reinforcing that that behavior is okay. So I'm already like canceling these people out. Like, no, we're not doing it. I had her scheduled for after Thanksgiving. She wanted to get on before. I'm like, hey, I can't. And then she was like, oh, I found somebody else. The nails got too long and my dog was hurting to walk. She said the nails, yeah, they had gotten so bad that the dog couldn't walk. And I sent her a message because I know she's going to reach out next year. This third year in a row doing it. I sent her a message and I said, oh, that's not what I said though. I wish I was meaner. I was like, this route is officially full. I will not be able to onboard you moving forward. Period.
Yeah.
Nope.
But then, I mean,
So,
also, like I just said, like that'd be more of just sarcasm of being like, well, like I do this all year round. So I can come in regularly to do your dog's nails. You don't have to
yes.
wait once a year.
But those people, they don't want it though. I don't think they care
Right.
that
No,
it hurts their pet.
yeah, but then they're putting it on you. And you're
Yeah.
like, it's not me. That's a you thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So I already got the first one down. I got a handful of people I know are going to call me and be like, I need to get in right now. And I know those nails are going to be this long. And I'm going to tell them, not doing it this year. Like, I'm full, even though I'm still onboarding your clients. I'm full. And I'm protecting my current clients who are going to need crazy hours during the Christmas. I'm protecting my Christmas schedule. Everybody's schedule is getting protected this year for Christmas.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you're able to do that now.
Yes. And the other thing that I know I mentioned this so many times, not in this podcast, but every other place. When you own your own business, it's no longer your DVM's name on the door, it's yours.
Hmm.
And I get a ton of wonderful food, awesome treats, wonderful tips from my clients. And Jen, you've been there when the clients drop off all the cookies and candy
Hmm.
every year.
Yeah.
Like, it's for the doctors. It's not for, I mean, some people do get it and they're like, oh, this is for the staff. I love you guys. But then there's some people who are like, this is for Doc. And they hand you the brownies like you don't see them. And they're like, that's for Doc.
Yeah.
Like, those people are now giving me those brownies.
Yeah.
And that is so wonderful. Like, last year, I filled up my kitchen table. We got a big kitchen table. Like, I filled that thing up with so many gifts and treats. And that to me is such an overwhelming, wonderful feeling that my clients do that. Cause it's like, they're happy for me, not because of my doctor. Like,
Yeah.
I did something right this year, not my
Right.
DVM. So it's
Yeah.
like, for me, like, I miss the potlucks. I miss the crazy X-rated holiday parties where we got too drunk. Like, I miss those ones. I don't miss having to be tied down to a large corporation that sees me as a production.
Right.
I now get the same gratitude and love and gifts from clients that the DVMs get.
Yeah.
So it's so much more, but still it does have that loneliness element to it sometimes when I'm in my car and I'm by myself and I'm like, oh, these clinics are having their potluck. I'm by myself. But
Yeah.
my clients remind me of like why I'm by myself now.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's different, but it's a good different.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to most in the future holidays? Like what's now that, I mean, because this is your second year of being your own business, right? Or is it your first?
No, well, I guess technically this will be my second holiday. Last year I worked. So last year I worked on Thanksgiving and I worked on Christmas. And a lot of it with me is more of an excuse of like, look, I don't have kids. So it's only fair for me to work those holidays and give somebody with kids that day off. So that's usually how I see it, and that's how I saw it last year. I did do traveling last year around the holiday weeks last year as well. So yeah. I don't know. I really don't know how it's going to be in the future. I personally feel like, especially if I do have kids in the next coming holidays, I'm probably just going to take them off and enjoy them with my kids. I know that when I was little, it was the holidays were a big deal, and then my mom was an ER human nurse. And then during the holidays, when I got older, she wasn't around because she was working. Um, so I don't want to do that to mine. I want to
Yeah.
make it like a big deal. So yeah, that's kind of what I. So I think we'll just have to see how that goes in the
Yeah.
future. But yeah, that's what I would think is that I would actually, because I feel like I've missed out on so many years of so many good holidays that I think it's time for me to start enjoying the holidays again.
Think so too. I thought you were gonna say that. I'm like, I know she's not gonna after this. Like, I know, like, just with owning your own business, you're like, you paid your dues. You don't want to work
Yeah.
them anymore.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Yep. So that's what I think the future will hold. You can never know for sure, but that's what my hope is. What
Let
about
me see.
you?
I think for mine, it's gonna be the same. I think I'm gonna continue on the path of no longer working the holidays. When I first started my business, I did. Like, I remember, I think it's like first my first Christmas. I remember I had to get up and leave to go check on a dog or a cat, whoever it is. I don't see them anymore. So I look back to that first year of like having to get up out of dinner and be like, I have to go check on this cat or dog and missing out on dinner for a client who I don't see anymore. They used me for that one Christmas to pet sit when I still was pet sitting. I don't pet sit anymore. But when I was, I remember doing that and not liking it. And
Yeah.
I said, I'm not doing this anymore. Because I also got the same clients who'd only reach out to me for pet sitting during the holidays. And that was starting to kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, I want the holidays for myself. I went into business because I want this freedom, and I wasn't giving myself that freedom in the first year. So now I've given myself that freedom around the holidays, and it's for the past 2 holidays, 3 holidays. It's been a nope, no working the day before, no working the day after. If a client has an emergency, like, they can absolutely still call me. I don't care. If I see it's one of my good clients calling me on Christmas, I know something's wrong. Like,
Yeah.
Imma take it. Like, I'm pretty passionate about making sure my clients are taken care of. What's gonna be my answer? Go to emergency. Like, that's always gonna be my answer, but at least I can, help out for a few minutes. But as a physically working, pet sitting, absolutely not. Nope, I'm staying home. Kiki and Bronson need me. I'm
Yeah.
lazy. I wanna be in my Golden Girls blanket with whatever gifts my husband gets me because he gives awesome gifts. Oh my god, I got a good one. So that's what I wanna do. No more after that first year in business, I was like, "No, I can't do this anymore." Nope. I'm home. I'm taking the days off.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as an emergency nail trim, so I'm out. Like, I'm staying
Yeah.
at home. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that sounds fair. I think that sounds good.
Okay. And there you have it. A vet tech who works in a clinic, a vet tech who owns a mobile business, and a vet tech who owns a relief business who also did emergency. So I feel like we got a full spectrum of the different variations and the different ways a vet tech can have Christmas. The way we cope with it, whether it's through Jen ignoring the holidays, me playing physical play fight with my coworkers. We all feel like we're stuck around the holidays. A lot of us do. You're not stuck. Work within your clinic. I hope they all do fair rotations this year. I hope everybody has a beautiful holiday. And if this is the year you burn out, start listening to our podcast because me and Jen are here to help you in case you decide to do mobile work or relief work and never work a holiday again.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
Yes.
All right. Is that it?
I think that's it. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope. Nope. I think that's it. So I
Okay.
think we'll wrap it up with that. Happy holidays, everybody, and just, again, hope you guys have a good one this year.
Yes.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. Hang in there.
Bye. Yes.
Hang in there.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found some valuable insights. If you did, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave us a review and let us know what you think. You can also connect with us on all social media platforms at Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making a positive impact in the veterinary world. We need you guys. Have a great day.